Hi again. So, it's only been 5 days since I made the last video, but the game has come a very long way since then. Very productive 5 days. So, I thought I'd show off some of the new features that exist now. First of all, you notice we're not on an open grassy field. We're sort of in an indoor dungeony kind of area. Um, and there's other monsters now, and they just kind of move around. They're blue slimes. I think I've stolen the flan animation from Final Fantasy. Um, and I've made them a little bit jelly-like. They just kind of pop around randomly. They're most likely to move directly towards me, but almost half the time they just go off in a random direction. Sort of should help them from not getting too clumped up. And if they touch me, I actually take damage now, as well as them. And if I get hit enough, I can actually die in this game. But uh, I've added new spells. I've actually made it so that there's 3 non-elemental spells and 3 fire spells. Oh yeah, walls actually stop things from going through them, which is pretty useful. Um, so I'll show off. If you watched the other video, you've already seen some of these spells, but that is light. But the new non-elemental projectile spell is this, which I'm just calling Magic Missile for now. It's just got a homing effect. I've been rebalancing the damage on this so much because if you make the turning radius very tight, then it can loop through and continually hit the same thing like 2 or 3 times, in which case you really need to tune down the damage. But now that I've made it so projectiles can run into walls, it's a lot less likely, especially in an indoor area, to loop around and get multiple hits. So maybe I have to increase or make it turn more tightly, or increase the damage again. And then the third non-elemental spell uses the little AoE motion, which is a circular motion on the controller. I start at up and make a full circle and release. And this one doesn't do any damage. It's a little push. So very useful for when you're getting sort of closed in on and you don't have time to kill things before they get to you. You just need to give yourself a little more space. So this one I was pretty happy about. I implemented it sort of as a status effect. So just for, oops, and I'll mess it up from time to time. It's kind of one of the bigger motions. But yeah, for a quarter of a second, things accelerate away and then stop. And I treat that the same way you treat most status effects in games, which are like short-term maladies that the enemies have. And then you could also have in this game as well. So that's non-elemental. For fire, so you notice I'm channeling here, and then I can add a fire element to it, and the little channeling animation gets red. So this is going to be a big one. It's a pretty powerful spell. Let's do that with a little less spell power. This I'm calling Wildfire. It's just a blob of fire, but it also kind of drifts around randomly. I'm not sure if I want to make it move more quickly. It's sometimes you almost can't tell that it's moving, and it's not really guaranteed to go in any one direction very far, and it stops and changes directions pretty suddenly too. And I've made the damage pretty high because because it has no range at all, and you kind of need to lure things into you. But for fighting these slimes, it's pretty effective. And then Fireball, you've seen before. Let's just start channeling, add fire, do the projectile motion, that kind of thing. And before I can show you the next spell, I'll have to go on to the next area. There's multiple locations now. So if I walk out here, suddenly I'm in the forest and I'm outside of the house. So I built a system so I can chain together as many of these areas as I want. I'm actually composing all these areas via text files, just rows and columns of different characters that can get interpreted. So here I'll show you the final fire spell, which I've called Dragon's Breath, but it's just like a AoE fire attack. So do this, do the AoE thing, and I have this, just sort of short range, burns everything around me. Doesn't get huge. Pretty good damage. I have a little death animation now too for things when they die. So still, Fireball may be the most effective thing, but that really helps to break things up. This is great if you have a bunch of monsters sitting around. It's especially it's super easy to cast because you don't have to have any motion with it, so you could just kind of get a lot of these going. Right now you can cheat a little bit too because there's no minimum spell power required for a spell to go off. So if you see, I can do these little super tiny ones that actually do pretty good damage just due to the rate on which I can pump them out. Anyway, that's a little silly. That won't actually happen during the game. There's magic missile being, oops, miscasting. So yeah, what the game needs now is certainly another enemy type and more locations. And then I think I want to start implementing stats and do some treasure chests and things so your character can become more powerful. Maybe start doing experience in the game. This is water. It doesn't look very good, and what's especially weird is that projectiles are caught by it. So I should make it so that projectiles can travel over water, even if people can't. One other little feature that I wanted to show is if we go back inside, right now I have enemies respawning. It's still a design decision if I want to do that. I don't want people having to grind when they're playing, but oops. I'm not getting my my push off. So what you might have seen is if I go down here, there's just a couple blocks of floor down there that look unreachable, and now you've seen that I've blown that slime into the wall, and there's a reason for it. I really like, okay, I'm just gonna kill these guys because they are, I really like secret places in games, and I thought I should make some secrets with good loot and stuff so that you have a reason to explore and look carefully and kind of enjoy the world. So you might also notice that there's I'm totally getting screwed up here. That there's some bricks here which are a little more regular than the rest of them. They look a little less worn down, and so the reason is because they're just false bricks. I can move right through them, and then that takes me to this secret room, which doesn't yet feature any treasure. It just features more slimes, but eventually there will be some kind of treasure. This will be essentially like the basement of the house where you keep your secret stuff. So that's that. And I will continue to implement features and record again when I have more to show off. Thanks.